Hello, Math 2 people from Mrs. Roberts in my class. Hope you're doing great. Uh, this week we're going to be working on solving two-step equations and solving and graphing inequalities. So first I want to just flip around and just go over this idea of solving. Right? So solving a two-step equation. The best analogy I can give you is just like putting on your socks and shoes in the morning and evening. So in the morning you put on your socks and then you put on your shoes, shockingly. In the evening, guess what? You take off your shoes first and then you take off your socks. That's a big fat duh. And solving, I hope, can get to a place where it's just like that. It's just so easy. It's the same thing because you end up doing the opposite in the opposite order. If the first thing you did was put on your socks and then you put on your shoes, well, here the first thing you do is you take off your shoes. It's the opposite in the opposite order. And the last thing you do is you're going to take off your socks, which was first thing you did was put on your socks. So anyways, it's the opposite in opposite order. So here, let me give you an example. Math-wise, what if I had 3x plus 7 equals 19? Well, in the morning, how would you did it? This is 3 times x. You're multiplying by 3, and then you're adding 7. Like, look at the variable. It's being multiplied by 3 first, and then you're adding 7. Well, in the evening, which is how you're going to solve it, this is how it's written. You're multiplying by 3 and then you're adding 7, or this is how you'd say it. Multiply by 3, then add 7. Well, here, solving, the first thing you do is you're going to, the opposite of adding 7, subtracting 7, and then the opposite of multiplying by 3 is dividing by 3. So this is the rhythm I want you to get into. So you draw your line, because you can do the opposite to both sides. So now I got my plan here. I'm going to subtract 7 from the left side, so I'm going to subtract 7 from the right side. I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. As long as I do the same thing to both sides, it's going to stay balanced. And this right here, I use the subtraction property of equality. I subtracted the same thing from both sides. And then I want you to summarize. I like doing my slashing here, which means write down your equation. What do you have now? Well, what I have left is 3x on the left equals, and what do I have on the right? Well, 19 minus 7 is 12. I do the opposite both sides, and then I write my equation, and now I do the opposite both sides again. The opposite of multiplying by 3 is, and we're going to use fraction bar, not the line dot dot. Divide by 3, divide by 3, and here, 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 1 times x is x, equals, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. So here I use the subtraction property of equality, and then here I use the division property of equality. I do the opposite both sides, I write the equation, and then I do the opposite both sides again, and I write the equation. And that's the rhythm. Opposite both sides, write the equation, opposite both sides, write the equation. There's a rhythm to that. When you're all done, you can double check. And so for double checking, you just copy, you write 3x plus 7 equals 19, you copy, and then you plug in your answer, which is 3 times 4 plus 7 equals 19. The answer was 4. It's called the solution, which is the number that makes it true. And then I'm here, now it's order of operation. Am I going to multiply or add? I'm going to multiply. That's 12 plus 7 equals 19. And when I get down to one operation, I can ask myself, is that true or false? That's true. And so how do I feel? I feel happy. And so what I like my students to finish, do all this for double checking. Double checking, I copy, I plug in my answer, I substitute the value for the variable, and then I do my order of operation. When I get down to one operation, I can stop and smell the roses. Because if solving is getting the answer that makes it true, well, if I make sure my answer does make it true, then aren't I right and don't I know it? And here I'm showing it. It's true and I'm happy. So, anyways, I don't make my kids show the double checking for everything, but if you know how to double check, then you can be right and know you're right, which is way better than just being done. So anyways, hope that's helpful. I'll be making another video here for more practice in a second here.